Um, so this is just part two. I'm going to be going through the second phase. This is definitely the hardest phase of this rotation, but it is not as hard as you think. There are a lot of ways to do it. So I'm going to just go over some of them now. I will be using Gluttony instead of Hex if I can, but generally I just go through this phase with Hex because strong single target magic damage is very good to deal with the golems. As you can see here, tons of defense, not a lot of magic resistance. But something you can do is use Gluttony and he will just immediately kill these really tanky units. For this week, on this fight at least, it's magic damage taken reduces by 30% for these bookkeepers. Physical damage taken increases. You were already kind of going to use physical damage, so it's not a big deal. This is the team that I have picked. Idril for the mages. Hex is going to be good single target magic damage. Mari's just for her debuffs and her slow. I should probably build her a bit better and actually fully skill her. But I don't have a lot of crystals right now, so I'm not going to. Baron is just there for a little bit of separate tanking. Olog's our main tank. Vortex main healer. Hollow's there to help keep Idril alive. Vienna is for the bottom restorers, and that's about the team. It shouldn't be too hard. I tried Gluttony. It was a bit awkward to use Gluttony for this stage. I will use him in other stages, although I have never used him before, but he just gets one shot, at least with the gear I have on him, because I don't have a lot of offensive gear for HP based units, since Gluttony's like the only one. So I do need to work on that. I could do like a gearing Gluttony guide, I guess, but I think it would be kind of boring to just be like, you do like, you just do HP and then crit stuff. Whoa. But, I mean, I might start doing shorts on how to build heroes. So, like, I will do a hollow one soon, like the optimal way to build hollow. My current hollow is not built optimally, but I'm a bit lazy, so you know how it is. Anyways, we're going to get to, I will probably leave this because I know that two of the restoration guys are going to come up, so I'm going to let Vienna deal with this one without her ultimate. I don't know why I faced Hollow up this time. I was trying Gluttony over here, so I kind of conditioned myself to doing that. You want to face her down. Don't face her the way I did. I will Vienna ult this, that's for sure, just to kill these guys off really fast. And then I will Hex ult, and he should be able to deal with these two guys. Mari helps a little bit, and these mages up top, you got to be very careful with. So I will be putting Baron right here, just so that Idril can deal with these mages pretty easily. And then I will pull Baron right after. He's just there to help a little bit, kind of distract them. And then I can pull them now that I know Idril will not get absolutely deleted by these mages. Now we just kind of leave her. She does her thing. Vienna does her thing. Everyone's just kind of doing a good job together. Mari just kind of good for slows. Hex ult should be able to kill these two. And I can Vienna ult this. Boom. They're dead. I get a Hex ult. And everything goes well. We do have to deal with a couple other things, but now we have Baron in case we need them. I can probably use this ultimate right now, just to kind of help Idril deal a bit of damage, and then we could probably do this, although it's a little bit tense since I did accidentally place him wrong, but we should probably be good. Maybe I will use some ultimates just in case. Hollow is kind of struggling, but luckily because we used some ultimates for some extra shots, Idril's able to kill them. If you place Baron a bit differently, like in a better way, you will be fine, but whatever. I'm gonna Idril ult this because I know that there's nothing else coming from the top right, and I can deal with this however I can, and hopefully we will be okay. Hex will be able to kill that guy, and then we should be good. I do have a Baron in case Olag dies, so I could just slot Baron in and deal with those mobs, and it won't be too bad. Hex, pretty good. Hex is probably the MVP of this stage. Also, there's an Infernal boost, but you could use Nocturne, you can use Amani, stuff like that. I just don't have the resources to upgrade Amani right now. It's just only A4 or A5 is really good. As you can see, single target magic. I could use other single target magic. Just why would I not use the option I have leveled, you know? I could swap to Nocturne if you guys would like. I know Nocturne is considered more accessible, but like Hex was just on a 10x and lots of people have Hex, so I think it's okay. Crimson Guard, max HP. Damn, that's really bad. We have to deal with these guys, the flying guys. I hate these guys. They're like the hardest thing to deal with in these stages, at least for a while. I really dislike dealing with them. I will be using my 2 tanks just in case. I will be using Hex for some golems. I think I could do 2 healers. Generally I just do Vortex, but I think I'll do 2 because I don't know what else to use. I guess I'll use the core of the last team, but I would recommend using another marksman, so I will use Silas, I think. Although I don't really want to, I think I have to. Let's just launch into it and see. Silas is only for the flying guys, by the way. Also, I think I would have rather had Wrath, so I could place Wrath here. So I will go and do that. I'll show you why in a second. Just show it off. Anyways, let me go grab Wrath. I'm gonna probably keep you guys for this unless I struggle after. In that case, I will edit to the part where I beat it. But I think I should be fine. I don't think I need Baron really. I could probably just use Wrath like I mentioned. And we're good. Alright, now we're in. We get to go with, I personally like doing Hex like this first. It literally makes no difference. I know it's probably better to leave him in the back, but yeah, I'll put him one tile back, just because I am used to putting him here, just in case, but I don't think it's a good idea. Silas will go up top, same with the Idril, just to deal with the flyers, but they will die, especially because the flyers have more HP now. So you just gotta be mindful of that. I might put Vortex behind, double healer it, so that when the Crimson Guards inevitably come here and they nuke this square, we'll be okay. Idril, I think I will put up top just to deal with this guy, and then I will put Wrath like this to deal with the bottom. This guy can be very threatening. Definitely very scary to deal with. That's why I will be doing 2 healers, which just makes it easier. I should have ulted with Hex a bit later so we can deal with these guys a bit better, but it's fine. Vierna might not even get any use, which is kind of funny. Poor Vierna. And I will put Silas here. The reason why I like putting Silas here, you can place him up there if you want, if you're confident in destroying the flyers. But I like having him at the bottom, because by the time the flyers come all the way down, although they will kill Idril, Silas can just ult them and he will clear them out because he's a strong piercer. You could probably use Idril instead, but I don't think it works very well, so you will need to be mindful of that. I will be using Silas ult. I don't think I need to, but I mean, I'm scared. And then I could probably just try to bait them out. But as you can see with Wrath, he is self-sustainable, and the restoration people don't really deal any damage, so we should be good. Silas might get hit, but hopefully we will be okay. If we're not, then I might need to restart, but hopefully we will be fine. I do have Idril. That's a little bit scary. I will place Idril just to bait out a bit more, and also because we have 2 healers on her, she won't fully die for a little bit, and we should be able to hopefully clear this wave. I should have saved Silas ult and used that instead, but you know, it is what it is. Fiona's going to be here just to deal with this restoration person, and we do lose because Hex did not do his job, and we will need to restart. So, Olag first, Hex second. Hex is going to be really good for the stone guys. Then I will place Hollow. Hollow is going to be great. And then I will wait for Hex ult for a little while, because there will be like a train of golems, and the second the golems get off too many attacks, you will lose. I will be putting Idril up here for now. She's just going to clear this single guy and deal some damage to the flyers later on. I think I will put Wrath like this. Wrath will not be targeted by the flyers. The flyers have more HP, so they're much more threatening than usual. And I can wait for Hexalt for a little bit, and now I will trigger it. Because we have two healers, I am not worried about Olog. He will die sometimes, especially if there's two of these tanky people, so sometimes I like bringing two tanks. I think I probably could have, instead of Idril, instead of Vierna, so you could just cycle your like Baron and your Olog back to back if you need. We are going to lose Idril, unfortunately, but we should be fine. It might be a bit stressful. I might go like this, just to hopefully get a tiny bit of extra damage out. Silas is going to get hit, which is a bit rough, but hopefully our two healers can keep him up. This stone guy is getting deleted because there's really nothing he can do. And then we use Silas Ult just to clear these guys. You could use anything else for this. You could put like 3 healers and just leave that guy there to do his thing. I don't know. There's lots of ways to do this. There's no specific way to do it. I will put Idril up here again to deal with this single guy. There are other ways to do it, but you know, this is an easy way. And then I will do Hollow Ult, and I will do Hex, just to clear the golems once again. I could probably do it with Nocturne and Imani, like I keep saying, but it is a lot harder, and I don't have it geared or leveled, so I'll just be doing it like this. The flyer's coming from the right, so I know that Wrath will die, so I will be selling him just in case. And hopefully we can deal with this stone guy before the other guys come by. Once again, we will just have to deal with these two, and then there will be an even bigger wave, so I think I will try to save Silas Ult. Although, Hollow might be able to bring it back up, I'm not sure, but I'm not going to take that chance. Hopefully we will be okay. I will be using Hex Ult here, hoping that we can tank these flyer guys, which we can. Hopefully Hex can deal with this stone guy, and then Silas can deal with these air guys, and we should be okay. I will be using Vierna like this. Hopefully she can build her ult up for these guys, or I could just put Wrath here and I'm fine. I was just kind of panicking a little bit, and we should be able to deal with the rest of these guys, as long as Olog doesn't die, which he does. I'm not going to redo this on camera. I do not feel like it because we just lost barely. But you get the idea. If I clicked Olog ult, I think I would have won. It's so much re-recording right now, so I'm just going to pretend I beat this, and I'm going to move on to the next stage. You saw I basically beat it. I got close. You could call me lazy, that's okay. But I just don't have that much time today, so I figure that I will get back to this when I have time. I just wanted to get this video out for you guys pretty fast. I will speedrun my XP stage too. I just don't really have the patience right now. Anyways, this is definitely the hardest level in this phase, at least in my opinion. Especially if you have an answer for the boss, which most people do, I think. But anyways, for this, I like to put a tank. I like to bring 2 tanks actually. I like to put Idril here, I think, for the flying guys, although they have more HP, so that might be very tough. And then I tend to put Silas either here or either here to deal with these mages. You could do Setram, you could do Sargag, you could do literally anything. I put a bunch of healers. I'll figure it out. I used gluttony and all sorts of things like it, and I was struggling really hard. So I caved and I decided to use Hex and go back to one of my old strategies. Instead of using gluttony, you can use him instead of Hex to one-shot the mobs, but it's just he doesn't get enough rage fast enough, and I was having trouble with the mages using Idril and all this stuff. I was doing like Idril Dolores and it just wasn't working. So I just went back to this. All you gotta kind of know is Dolores has to have enough HP, same with Hollow. So I did tweak their builds a little bit so that they would live. Hex too, of course, you gotta just make sure they will all live a mage burst. and just be mindful of that. I like placing Vortex down there because he covers all the bases, and I do use Silas, but it's only for the flyers. The flyers have lots of HP. You can use any legendary marksman. You could probably use 2 marksmen. You could use arrogance and a marksman. Anything that works for you does end up working. Not a big deal. But anyways, I like having Baron there because Vortex can heal him, and also he just kind of stops the mages from attacking Idril, and you don't really need to worry about it too much. Of course, Silas will be covering the left side on his own, and Hex is going to do a great job at dealing with the stone guys. I also like ulting with Idril very soon. As you can see, I'm trying to slow it down, so I make sure I time it right. You also constantly have to be making sure that you're spamming your ultimates, at least the ones that aren't very important, so that Idril can do enough damage to kill stuff. But yeah, just be very mindful of that, and try your best to kill the things that come from below. You know, those restoration people. I was using Idril out for it, but it was a bit hard to time, and it was a lot of work, so I decided against it. Um, eh, and I figured just like any sort of magic single target with Dolores is far more than enough for the golems, and just try to stall the mages as long as you can. Right here is a little bit stressful. You do need to use your ult when you can for Idril, and some of these guys will actually sneak past, but we have Idril ult for that, so we should be okay. And Hex also does great damage. I should have sold Silas pretty soon after this, but I forgot. And I I kept dying to the mages when I was using Gluttony. Sorry, I don't really have like a script for this, but you kind of get the idea. Just tank the mages to deal with them. Idril's for the mages. She will die eventually, but it's not a big deal. You just gotta keep it going. She might not actually die here. I think we just win off of this, but sometimes she will die if you're not careful, so you gotta always be mindful of that. Anyways, that's about it clear. I'm just spamming ults to make this go by a little bit faster, you know, putting down my second piercer, and it works. Um, I do recommend this strategy. I think it's the easiest way to do it. If you have a decent single target mage or magic DPS, it works pretty well. Sorry for the constant cuts. I'm very sleep deprived. But we're going on to the boss now. And this is a much easier way to do it if you don't have bonded Silas like I do. And it was actually really fun to try it this way. You do need to do it this way, but if you have someone really strong who can deal with the golems, you can just offload everything by the portal at the back if you need. But you do need to burst the boss pretty well in order to do that, so it's not really the best strategy. But Gluttony will actually one-shot these big golems, as you can see, 2.5 mil damage just off of his ultimate. So you just gotta place him, make sure he has an ult, which is why I am using Hollow to give him a bit of ult charge, and everything goes well. I'm using Hex Dolores for boss damage. You could use literally anything, single target. It does not matter at all. You don't even need to get the boss anywhere lower. You don't even need it to be lower than 50%. You can get it to 50%, as you'll see pretty soon. I do a pretty bad job at killing the boss, I think, in this replay. Or at least in one of my attempts, I got the boss down to like 60% in the first half, and it was really bad. But I have Wrath there because he's self-sustainable, more or less. Not there, but usually. And then I also have Hex for boss damage, Hollow to give Rage to Gluttony, who only needs to get 2 ults off at the beginning, and then Vienna just to deal with the mages. You could use anything for the mages, it does not matter. As you can see, I only get it down to 60%, and I almost won this run. I didn't quite, but I do end up fixing it at the end. I just figured I would show the beginning of it. As you can see, the Crimson Plague goes out. The only thing you need to know is no matter what the percentage is, ideally you have it lower because you will lose if you do not get it down by the second Crimson Plague. Plague, you need him to get off the first Crimson Plague. That's very, very important, is getting off the first Crimson Plague. I'll keep repeating it. That's all you need. Okay? And then you offload the end, as I'm doing here, and as long as your Wrath is built tanky enough, which he should be, because mine is not built that tanky, you will be able to live. Your Hollow can heal him, and you'll be fine. You have to place Hex like that, or he will just die. He'll get deleted anywhere lower, so you got to be mindful of that. And then you want to put Gluttony down, because there's still 2 more tanky guys coming through, and you need them for those. But luckily they're not too bad to manage. I do kind of use Dolores and Hex, but I do end up swapping Dolores for Vienna, I'm pretty sure. Or Vienna dies and then I lose. I don't remember what happens, but just keep in mind that you still need to do boss damage, and you gotta be very careful. But what ended up happening in this run, apart from not being able to gobble the last statue guy, just barely, was also I wasn't able to kill the boss by the second Crimson Plague because I did it so poorly. But it is very easy to actually get it down. As you can see, I'm almost at the end. But, oh wait, no. Sorry. I'm thinking of a different run. I'm so tired. So I did actually end up taking the boss down, but I had a complication with Gluttony in this run, and then I ended up losing because of it, which was very, very frustrating. I did have to redo it, but once again, I'll show that in a second. As you can see, boss died, even though we only got it down to 60% in the first half. You really do not need to do that much boss damage. You just gotta be able to get him before his second thing. Here, as you can see, Gluttony just barely didn't have enough rage. If I put down Laurel, I would have won. If I put down anything else, I would have won. It was bad. I lost here, and it was very upsetting, but we're able to win very soon. Here we are with our successful run. We're near the end, around where I lost in the previous one, which I just showed, but we're just a bit more prepared. As you could see on the left, though, we did end up dealing with the boss a little bit better, but I don't think it makes a big difference at all. All we have is Hex up now, which makes 0 difference. Gluttony will still one-shot the enemy because he has more rage, and we win pretty easily. So that's like the easiest way to do the boss. You just burst the boss down as much as you can. You could use Cuke as well, just keep that in mind, or Cutter or Liam or whatever. But Gluttony is the MVP. Definitely really, really strong for this phase, and if you're missing like Hex or Nocturne or something, just use Gluttony. It makes your life so much easier. No, it makes your life a lot harder, but it's fun, and he's pretty cool. Also, sorry about not fully completing that stage. I did end up doing it on my own, but you know, it was just so much work. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed part 3, coming very, very soon.